Alright, hello everybody. I am back with Monday Mini tutorials we can do in under 30 minutes that are super fun and a great way to get started painting. I think once you get started, it's something that just you feel like that you have to do because it feels good and it's great to get your creativity out. And it's really, really good to express yourself through art. So there are so many benefits to creating art, and I think that once we get started, we can see that. So these Monday Minis are geared towards just getting started. They're beginner friendly, but they are for everyone. So if you are coming inexperienced, you can grab a paintbrush and you can still have fun. If you're a beginner, welcome, and I am so excited for you to start your art journey. So we're gonna get started. The supply list will be in the description part of this video, so you can check that out before you start. We're gonna get going. We're gonna start by drawing. So I know that St. Patrick's Day is coming up in a couple weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. So we're gonna do a fun little shamrock painting. Great for kids too. If you have kids, you can grab them and paint with them. So we're gonna start by kind of drawing out what we wanna do here. Remember, these Monday Minis are super simple ways to get started. So you are welcome to add to this painting as you go if you feel like you wanna embellish some more. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start by drawing out a 4-leaf clover. Now, keep in mind, for 4-leaf clovers, really the petals, the shape of the petals is super easy. So if you think of a heart, that's when I always think of 4-leaf clovers. So we can go and we can have one here, 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 and here. And we're really just gonna draw 4 hearts that are gonna connect. So we can start by just coming up. We're gonna have a heart there and it's gonna come down. So it's not going to meet at the point, it's gonna stay open a little bit. And this is where you can take your time and get the shape the way you'd like it. And then we can come, we're gonna come along and we're gonna do another one here. And we're just gonna keep going with that. So another one. Another one here. This is where we can connect these a bit better, kind of have them come up. And we're gonna have a cute little stem just kind of coming down here. So we have our 4-leaf clover. If there's anything you wanna change about it, you can. So if you want to bring in, you know, make it a little bit closer or anything like that, you can do that. I think I'm just gonna leave mine. The way it turns out is the way it turns out. So present over perfect here today when we're painting. That's always something that I love to stress. The perfect never comes. There's nothing, perfect doesn't exist. So we can get great and we can get good. But dropping that expectation of perfect right off the bat is a great way to not have that pressure when we're painting. So we're going to practice, we're gonna be present, and then the good and the great comes afterwards. So I'm gonna take, and you can draw out, I'm gonna put some circles on my page. You can just freehand them. Another fun way to do circles is if you already have your paint containers out, you could just take and make little circles. So this one here, I am just kind of starting already like it's in behind my shamrock. We can put one here. And if you have different size bottles, you can do different size circles. They don't all have to be the same. I'm just gonna do a few of this size here, and then I'm gonna do a couple smaller ones. So I have smaller little containers here too. And if you don't have any containers, you can just freehand it. Try to see if I have any other sizes here. So anything else that's a circle that's around you, if you wanted to use that, you can. I have this little leftover string container. So I can use that too. I have some coming off the page as well. So I think I'm gonna leave mine like that for now. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to put some black on my plate. I want my background to be black. You can do any color you want, it doesn't have to be. I plan to have my 4-leaf clover and my circles really bright, so I wanna have a contrasting background that makes those things pop out into the picture. So, or of the picture, from the picture, I can't talk. So I'm gonna grab my big brush. I have a large flat brush here, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna paint the background here black. And we're just gonna go around these objects as carefully as we can. No big deal if we mess it up a little bit. The reason why I did not paint first is because black is really hard to cover. So if we had come in and painted all black first and then went to put our colors on, they wouldn't be as bright unless we put a few colors of white first. And that can become a bit time consuming. Now, if you have time and you want to put a few coats on, you can do it that way if it's easier. But I find that the colors are just so much more vibrant if we put the shapes on and then color in black. Now, if you were gonna pick like a super light background for this, you could definitely color or paint it first. So go ahead and you get your background all painted. I'll meet you back here in a second. So once we have our background painted, we can go ahead and wash out that brush. And then we are going to come in with some green. So you can choose any kind of green you want. I have a lime green here that I'm going to mix with some teal. So I have these two colors, lime and teal. I'm gonna mix it to make a pretty color, and I'm still gonna use my large brush. So I grab and mix that in there. Just gonna make a nice shamrock green color. And I'm gonna come in and fill in my 4-leaf clover here. And we're just gonna worry about the first coat going on. We're not gonna worry like if it's covering it or anything. We're gonna be putting some shadowing in. So we are just getting that first coat on. And we wanna make sure it's a nice thin coat. We don't wanna see big thick lines coming in. We want it to be nice and smooth. I'm just using my brush on a 90-degree angle just so I can kind of pre-outline my clover. Feel free to move your paper or your canvas around so that you can get a good angle. That always helps with, you know, being able to paint and stay in the lines. You don't have to just keep it one way if you're painting flat. If you're painting on an easel, well then that's a little bit different, but if you are painting flat, you can move it around. Okay, so we're gonna leave that. I'm gonna switch my brush and just paint the little stem here. So I have just a size 4 round brush. Just need to pre-mix a little bit more paint. Okay, so we can leave that, and I'm gonna come in and we're gonna paint our little circles. So we can paint them any colors we want. I'm gonna do some yellow. I already have some blues on my plate, so I think I might stick with that. I have a little bit of pink too. I'm gonna be switching here to my filbert brush. Because we're painting something round, it's nice to have a rounded end brush. That always helps to stay in the lines. And this is a size 8 that I'm using. So we can come in with our brush here, and you can see how it kind of just shapes around the edge nicely. And I'm just gonna alternate some colors here. So just start with a color. I'm gonna do a couple circles and then alternate to a different color. Just rinse out my brush. And I'll pick some of this. This is a pretty, like a purpley blue. Where's the bottle here? I'll show you. There it is. So it's light blue violet. And then I think I'll do some magenta here. So I have this pretty magenta color. And I like to choose colors that are opposite on the color wheel. So I find a painting really pops out if you can pick some colors out that are opposite the color wheel. Opposite on the color wheel, I should say, not opposite the color wheel. The whole thing, you cannot be opposite to the whole thing. so we have all our colors in on our painting. So now what we're gonna do is we are going to go ahead and we're gonna shade in this shamrock a bit. So, or highlight it. So we can choose to highlight it with just a lighter color green, or we could do a brighter yellow. I have my lime green here and my yellow. I'm gonna mix them together to make kind of like an in-between, because I like everything to be really bright. So you can pick a more subtle color if you like. So I have some of that on there, and I'm just gonna come through and just highlight the tops of these here, just putting in a brighter color like that. And then I'm gonna wipe off the excess there, and I'm gonna come back into my original color and come back and just blend that out. So I'm still using my filbert brush here. I'm just gonna blend out on the edge. So you want your paint to still be wet. So if it's not, you might want to work on one section at a time. That way it stays wet so you can blend it. Because when you are blending two colors together, you want that paint to be wet. So you'll see how it's blending there nicely. This is still wet here, so it's going to blend out nice. But if you find like it is getting dry, you can add a little bit more of that yellow and lime green. I have it a little bit dry here, so I can come in and put some more of that. We're just going over that edge where they meet, and that's going to help blend it out. Try not to go too high up because I want that bright yellow to stick out. So we have some nice highlighting there. And I'm just gonna come in with that original green here and just give another coat here on the stem. You could grab a little bit of that yellow and just kind of bring it around this edge here. Just slightly. And then I'm gonna clean out my brush. So now, because this is, I like to keep these Monday minis under 30 minutes, and I also like to keep them fairly simple so that you don't feel intimidated when you start. You could go ahead and you could shadow and highlight your circles as well, choosing either a darker shade of that color or a lighter shade. I can do one and show you what I mean. So let's say we wanted to highlight our pink ones. I could take some pink and some white, and I could create almost like a baby pink here. Maybe not, maybe a little bit darker like that. And then I could come and bring a highlight in here, wipe off that excess, come back to my original color, and then blend that out. So now those circles have, this circle has like a pop of highlight, whereas the other ones you can see they're laying a little bit more flat, right? So just popping out some color here, and then coming back in with that original pink and just blending that out. And it's gonna make, you know, it does make quite a bit of a difference. Our image isn't so flat then. So we could do that with, now that I started, I kind of want to do it with all of them. So maybe I'll just do it super quick. And you can do the same thing. So grab, you know, maybe you want to do a little bit of that lime green in the yellow. You could bring it under, because you gotta picture where your light is, right? So your light's gonna be higher. It's gonna be reaching the top of these circles. So the bottom, if you're picking a darker color, the bottom is going to be the darker part. And then I need a little bit more yellow on my plate. We always go back into the original color, and then we just blend that out. I like to start my blend a little bit higher so I don't go right into where the new color is. I started a little bit higher and then I work my way down, because the most amount of paint on your brush is going to be when you start. So you want to start where it's already that color and then blend it out, because if you start right on that other color, you're going to overtake it and it's going to be almost like you did in blend, if that makes sense. And then we have this strange color here. It's kind of like a purpley blue. So you could go with a darker purple, you could go with a darker blue. I do have a darker blue on my plate here, so I'm gonna use that. You could also mix a bit of the original color in, just so it has kind of the same shades going on. And then you could bring in, so this is gonna be a little bit darker, so I'm gonna go underneath. Wipe off that excess and go into the original again. Remember, we're starting a little bit above it, and then we can blend out. You can see how all those have a little bit more to them now. So what I like to do, because we have a black background, I always like to pop my paintings out with either black or with white. So I'm gonna grab my round brush here, and I'm gonna go into some white. I'm gonna add some character to this painting here. So maybe we put, you know, a little bit of a round circle around here. Kind of outline it a little bit. And this is gonna really help your painting pop out. So same with here, we could outline, you know, some white. I'm gonna add a little bit of water to that. And it just adds to the shape. It gives it a little bit more character. It's a little bit more eye-catching. And you can do different line widths. I always like my stuff to be thick and bold. You definitely don't have to have it like that though. You could have it more thin. You can see this painting is coming to life. Now you could expand from here. You could do, you know, some fun accents inside, inside the leaves. You could put some different colors in there. You could put little dots around here if you have one of those daughters, or you could use the back of a paintbrush to do that. And really there's no like limit on, you know, just making this fun and creative. So I see here, I just want to put a little white around here, but then you could go in with yellow. So if you have yellow, you could, you know, throw a little more character in, accentuate that yellow section a little bit more with a little bit of bright yellow around these edges here. Because we did have a little bit of a blend going, so now we could pop it out a bit more with some more color. And you'll see how that just kind of creates even more fun. So I'm gonna leave it like that. If you enjoyed this video, if you learned something, subscribe to my channel. I'm gonna be coming out with videos every single Monday and probably some in between. Hit the notification bell. This way you know when a new video pops up, and make sure to follow me on my other platforms. So if you wanna share what you've created with me, you can share that on Facebook with me or send me a private message, and leave in the comments below what you enjoyed most about the tutorial. Thank you so much, everybody, and I will see you soon.